Okay, you guys, it is finally summer outside. Finally summer. We're talking pool weather, we're talking beach weather, we're talking linen weather, and of course we are talking margarita weather. I am such a margarita girly, especially in the summer, because it just gives that kind of a vibe. Like at a rooftop pool with like a margarita, it's chilled, it's delicious, it's crisp, it's refreshing. And the tequila I love to use for my margaritas is Astral right here. Okay, this tequila is so good. It is so smooth. This is obviously the Blanco, and it's made with 100% agave, which we love. It's just delicious. I love it so much. And I can tell you right now, my favorite recipe for my Amanda house margarita using Astral is you use a shot of Astral, and then you use some lime juice, some soda water, or just regular water, a little bit of maple syrup, and sometimes I like to add in like a jalapeno. Okay, that's all you need, and it is just the best margarita recipe, but you got to use Astral for that. Astral tequila is the official house tequila of Dear Media. You could feel good about ordering Astral at a bar or a restaurant, or getting it for your home and making a house marg like me, because it is affordable and it's great tasting and it mixes beautifully into any cocktail, especially a margarita. So stock up this summer on Astral. It's my go-to for get-togethers. So whether you're hosting or just having a drink with your husband or with a couple of friends, choose Astral Tequila. House Marg summer is here. It's time to stock up, you guys. Go to www.astraltequila, ASTRALTEQUILA.com to find Astral near you. And don't forget the limes, okay? Dakota Johnson would never forget those limes. If you know, you know. Please enjoy responsibly. Astral Tequila, 40% alcohol per volume. Diageo, New York, New York. I thought of your New Yorker piece. We'll talk about it.
Oh my God. I actually have to say,
I regret it.
Telling him about that I regret what?
What you said in the New Yorker about our city?
No.
Okay.
I regret nothing.
Okay.
But I wish I regretted it. It's because it's my city too. If it wasn't my city too, I would say none of that.
Yeah.
Because I feel you could only talk negatively about your
what
own
you
home.
said is so perfect in every way.
But thank you. But that being said, today he was like, "How are you doing?" I was like, "Can you call me between things?" And I was like, "No, because right now, like four things happened at once in the way that it can only happen in New York. Like someone almost bumped the car. Like a man is standing in traffic screaming. Like my friend sent me kind of a mean text, and then my mom said, "Can you talk?" in all caps. And then one other thing happened. I was like, and I'm just like, that feeling when you're in the back of a car in New York and you're like, I'm not crying, but I could cry, and I just can't open my mouth right now. And then I thought, I'm going to Amanda. It's going to be amazing.
No, I can't believe you even know my show or me. You don't understand.
Yes, I do.
Really?
I was so excited because this morning I was like, my father was like, "Do you want to have hang out this afternoon?" I was like, "I'm doing a podcast." And he was like, "What's it called?" "Oh, a podcast. What's it called?" I was like, "It's called Not Skinny But Not Fat." And then he looked at me and he goes, "That's a good one for you."
No, I cannot. He probably thinks we're talking about like diet culture.
Having a body type conversation. Oh my God, I love your Fabletics, Chloe.
No, is that so funny that I have the Chloe one? So
did she give it to you?
Well,
yeah, she did. That is, by the way, Best Kardashian. I do wear good American jeans.
And I tried her. What? This is all good American.
It's really nice. Her stuff is beautiful.
It's good.
It's really good.
That's what the thing.
And it looks great with just
credit.
like an earring. Are the pants her too?
No, it's favorite daughter. Do you
they
like
look
them?
Great. I've never tried a favorite daughter pant, but they're great. They look great.
You.
And Amanda, we trust.
I don't know what to do with this. I'm leaving. I'm so excited. When I tell you that when I started this podcast, I've always had a wish list. An unfeasible, like craziest dream, swear in my life could cry. Craziest dream, who I would want on my podcast. And you're on it, babe.
That's so beautiful and wild. And I feel like you've already dreamed all your dreams. Like you've got all the people. Everyone's come on your podcast.
But think about how long, like, if first of all, don't ever look at our DMs. Promise me, okay? Promise right now.
You mean the DMs?
Like don't scroll up, because you're just gonna see like me probably harassing you since Girls came out.
I would love to look at our DMs.
Okay, we could do that.
I'd love to look at our
flipped really
DMs.
quickly. I'm like, don't look. Okay, we could
You're
look.
like, okay, we can look together when you first hit DMs because it's been so long since I've gotten on Instagram myself because my friend does it for my friend does it for me. I don't force her to do it as a friend. She is paid, but she also is my friend. But it's a professional and friendly relationship that when you're like, don't look at our DMs, I was like, are we going to have our own DM account and we're going to get DMs together about this podcast and they're going to be mean? Like it went to so many levels. Your brain
works that way?
Yes. And
you
then
were already in our shared account?
I was already in our shared account in which we were getting unkind DMs. And I was like, why to us? We're beautiful, nice girls. Why would anyone want to write to us that way? Why would anyone want to treat us that way?
Yeah. You've been just... Since I was introduced to you, was just obsessed. I love your voice. I love your thoughts. I obviously loved and love girls. It still speaks to me to this day. Like I think about the quotes every day. Like
it means so much.
It was just genius. And then I read your piece in the New Yorker.
Thank you.
The whole thing. Sorry, not to show off that I can read.
You are.
And I don't read.
You're a good reader. Are you not a big reader?
No. Do you hate me now?
No, of course not. I think it's great. I mean, my husband's read 8 books tops, and that's across a lifetime.
Yeah, I'm like Twilight is my last one.
Across a lifetime. Twilight's a big chunky series.
Thank you.
Like I truly love to read, but I don't have any value. It's just a thing I really love to do. It's not like I think. It's not like I think. Oh, if you don't read, then you're a big dummy. Like there's certain people.
Are there dumb people who read?
1,000%.
Okay.
Some of the dumbest people read.
Stop.
Of course.
Oh, I didn't know. I thought that everyone that reads is smart.
That's I don't think anything anyone says is crazy except what you just said.
Okay, but circling
everyone
back,
who reads is smart. Do you know who's just reading? JD Vance sitting there.
Okay. Point made.
You know?
So don't read yet. Lena Dunham writes a piece for the New Yorker after you haven't written something in a bit, right?
I hadn't written something for New Yorker in a bit, so it was fun to be back in that space.
And it was so good.
Thank
and
you.
It was so your voice that I love.
Thank you.
And could like just notate it like so many I got chills at the line. The end I got chills, babe. You know what I'm talking about?
Thank you.
First of all, no one can talk shit about my mother but me.
Which is true. Like wouldn't you be so angry if someone else says
what do
something
you mean? Like your
husband
or your, you know what I mean? Could not dare say like your mom didn't come over. Sorry, what?
If my husband even tries to tell me something about who my mother, like I'll start the conversation. If he wants to pick it up.
What do you want him to do then?
Oh my God. If I'm saying something negative about my mom, it's like he can kind of go like, he can nod seriously, and he can also comment on like that must be painful for you. But he cannot make a comment about. He cannot pick up what I'm putting down and start talking about who she is as a person. That would be. I once had a friend, and my mom will know what I'm talking about because she was involved with this. I had a friend who kind of like went up against my mom a little bit, and no one wins in that fight.
No. I can't believe that.
I know. We were like 18, but still, it was like my friend got fresh with my mom, and it's still notorious in our household. The mama always wins.
And also, I think it's like, even if my mom can be annoying now, like, and with old age, there are little traits that were cute once or more annoying now.
And what mother cannot?
Right. But also, I'm like, she raised me to who I am today. You know, like there's still, even if they can annoy you now even more than in your entire life, you still look back, you know what a big deal it is to raise kids, and you don't get it. She gave me life.
That's how I also feel about my sibling. Like, I feel that my sibling, I'm like, do you know what a miracle it is? Like, the wars we've survived together, the things that we've seen together, like there is nothing that my sibling could do. Like, you could come to me and just like lay out a series of the most egregious crimes throughout America, and I would just have to sit and be like, yeah, that's my sibling. I don't know what to tell you. Like,
but they live far from you.
My brother now lives in Los Angeles, but I'm really excited because I'm going to be in New York this summer. I'm having, just as I dropped a piece about how I left New York.
Oh, you're doing the play.
I'm doing, we're working on a play, and I'm shooting a movie this summer. And so I'm directing a movie starring Miss Natalie Portman.
Oh, right.
Starring Syosset, Long Island's own Natalie Portman.
Lena, first of all, can
And-
we be friends when you're in the city in the summer?
I'd love to be.
Okay.
Like, literally, I'd love nothing more.
Stop.
I want to be in my, like adult female friends who wear a great matching top with under top like that era.
Like the matching,
Yes.
which didn't used to be cool, but it's back. Like you have to match it.
I want to
Yeah.
be in my era where I have like an adult, where I'm like, oh yeah, I'm meeting my friend. Her under top matches her over top, and she has a like kind of chunky earring, and her hair
Wait.
always smells amazing. You know, that's
So that's what's going to happen this summer.
yeah. I
Wait,
smelled
so
her hair, and
It was good for you?
Yeah, it was great.
Okay, we need to talk about the black hair. The decision, the consistency, and the commitment.
Thank you for noticing, because
I noticed
it's been happening for a year.
Yeah, because you
and-
have to. It's a commitment.
and it involves upkeep, and it has involved a commitment to my hair, and also a commitment to ruining my bathroom once every month.
Why you do it yourself?
Because I do it myself.
Why?
I don't know what came.
Wait, first of all,
I don't
it's
know
also
if
the longest. Has it ever been this long in your life?
No, it's
Okay.
the best thing that's ever happened to me. Because also, when my fellow women who've been through menopause, was because I went through early menopause. My other menopauses, whatever we're supposed to call ourselves, will know that sometimes you have differences. Your hair falls out. Things happen with hormone changes. So
Right.
So my hair really thinned, and then when it came back, it rocketed back.
Stop.
It rocketed
You got
back.
like a new head of hair.
I got a new head of hair, and it was like super hair. Like suddenly I felt like I had a rope coming out
That's
of my head.
literally insane.
It was like I had a rope coming out of my head. And so that was just a new era. In terms of doing the dye myself, I have like the instinct to save money at the wrong times.
Yes. Oh
And
my
I think
God.
it's like coming from like a post-war Jewish family. It's like things where you're like, why am I choosing?
Why would I pay money for this? I could buy it at Dwayne Reed.
Yeah, when I could buy this toxic dye at Dwayne Reed and slap it on my head with a toothbrush.
Meanwhile, you're
and,
like
like-
making movies with Natalie Portman, and you're like have a first look deal with Netflix, but you're dyeing it at home in your kitchen.
I'll never not think that everything's going to run out and I need to dye my hair at home in my kitchen. But then it's like, but then it's like, why am I ordering Postmates? And if I'm
'Cause food
so
doesn't count.
intent
Food
on
doesn't count.
Okay, because if I'm so intent on saving money, why am I not cooking for myself?
Food doesn't count though. Okay, so I just got a Russian manicure for the first time.
Can you tell me what that is?
Yes, I will.
Because I've been out of the country.
Because you've been what?
I've been out of the country.
Out of the country.
So I don't really know
I
all
wonder what
these
they
new...
call it there. So there's a regular manicure,
Yeah.
which you grew up in New York. You know, you could just walk in, get it.
Of course.
So then everyone's like, you have to try a Russian manicure. So I went, and can't you tell like that it's a different kind of manicure?
Well, I have to say I did look and go like, those are some of the most... Like, it looks like they put like bonbon candies on each of your fingers.
It's literally
like,
insane.
It looks like when like a grandma has like a thing of sweeties in her on her table, it looks like they put a single
in a good way.
sucking candy on each of your fingers. Yes, it's gorgeous.
Okay,
They're perfect.
So I mean, how
describe
much does it
it.
cost? How much does it cost? Do you think? Do you remember how much was a manicure when you were growing up?
When I was in high school, it was $12. I
Right.
think that manicure cost $150.
Correct.
Really?
Correct. Do you feel like you won a prize? Correct, Amundo.
Really?
Yeah, and me.
Which is not as. And how long does it last?
So I think she was like, should I, at the end they try to get you. And she was like, so should I schedule for 3 weeks? I'm like, no, bitch, I want to see how long this lasts.
Yeah,
you
you're
think
like, don't try to.
you think I'm pre-scheduling?
So what is different
So I'm
about
gonna tell
it?
you what's different, but I'll
Okay.
also tell you that I posted it, Javi, and then people were like, you'll never go back. And I'm like, it was $150. And in my mind, I'm so frugal about it.
Yeah.
So I get it. And then I'm thinking like, what will I order for dinner? Nobu for myself, And then
Yeah.
like, don't even look at how much it costs. So there's
Yeah.
something about food versus any other, and especially
Yes.
self-care where you're like, why do I need a massage?
Totally. And my first instinct is always to offer myself the worst version of whatever's available.
Oh
The
my
version,
God.
the most cut rate version of whatever's available. Although I don't dye my hair with like the lowest level. Like I dye my hair with the one that's called No Bleach London, which is like owned by a model. It's supposed to have a better environmental imprint. I'm not going like full. I don't know what we were using. Like I think
You're not using peroxide.
I don't know what we were using in high school. I mean, I was
Yeah.
using something called Manic Panic, which was actually a great dye. It
I
was
also did it myself in high school.
Oh my God. I used Manic Panic dye, and it was actually great. It was like temporary, and I bought it at Ricky's Beauty.
Babe. I grew up in the city too.
What street did you grow up on?
No, I grew up in Riverdale, in the Bronx.
Of course, I love Riverdale.
I love saying the Bronx because I think it's like J-Lo. Because only people from New York know Riverdale,
Riverdale's beautiful.
Yeah, it's nice. But I went to high school at Beacon. Do you know it?
Of course I do.
All the like liberal kids with the protesting.
Yes. It's a lot. It was a lot of liberal kids and a lot of protesting.
I know. I was like, sorry, I can't make this one.
It wasn't the same as Dwight, which they called dumbweight idiots getting high together. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Kids would be like, I go to Calhoun. You'd be like, okay. I go to Beacon. Cool. I go to Dwight.
Yeah, we were cool.
Dumbweight idiots getting high together.
I know, but I was always jealous of the LaGuardia kids because I was like, I should be there. They're not protesting. They're like acting.
Well, the LaGuardia kids were always like the most adult, the most serious, the most put together.
Yeah.
It's where the Nicki Minaj's and the Timothy Chalamets of the world were doing their thing.
Aware.
Lourdes Leon went to LaGuardia.
Oh, Lourdes Leon.
Yes.
Happy July 4th weekend that just passed. I hope you had something nice to wear. Maybe you didn't. And if you didn't, that means you haven't been checking out Quince. All right? Because I told you a million times, if you need a refresh to your wardrobe, you go to Quince, okay? Because their clothes are just timeless. They're luxurious. They're elevated. And they're quality. Way beyond what you would expect for the price. We're talking about European linens. We're talking about washable silk dresses and skirts, soft cotton sweaters, versatile warm weather pieces that you're going to reach for again and again. Everything with Quince is half the cost of similar brands. What they do is they work directly with top artisans and they cut out the middleman, and Quince gives you the luxury without the markup. They only work with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices and premium fabrics and finishes. I love everything that I have from Quince, from the bed that I have to the luggage to the linen to the cashmere sweaters. So give your summer closet an upgrade with Quince. Go to quince.com/notskinny for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's Quince, QUINCE.com/notskinny to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Again, that's quince.com/notskinny.
Exciting day, everybody. Simply has launched a new prebiotic soda. You guys know that I love sodas and I love ones that come with a little something extra. It's not just good, but there's a prebiotic in it, right? So Simply Pop is the new juicy soda. There are 5 flavors: pineapple mango, yum yum, lime, strawberry, citrus punch, yum yum, and fruit punch. This is made with real fruit juice. Simply Pop supports gut health, important, and has 6 grams of prebiotic fiber, no added sugar, and is sweetened with Juice's monk fruit extract. This supports immune health with zinc plus vitamin C. Amazing. Simply Pop is flavor that pops. See what all the fizz is about. Simply Pop is the new juicy soda that happens when you combine the delicious real fruit flavors of Simply with 6 grams of prebiotic fiber to support gut health. Go to cokeurl.com/simplypop to find out where you can try Simply Pop. Find Simply Pop and any of its 5 juicy flavors by visiting them online at cokeurl.com/simplypop. That's Coke, COKEURL.com/simply SIMPLYPOP.
I told you guys this already, and I'm so excited because the day has come for us Bachelor Nation fans. We've been anxiously awaiting the highly anticipated season 10 of Bachelor in Paradise. And the beach is finally back open, you guys. Jesse Palmer will be returning as your beloved host, and everyone's favorite bartender, Wells Adams, is back to mix up some cocktails and dole out dating advice. Also joining this season is former Bachelorette Hannah Brown. She'll be making her debut as the head of Paradise Relations, where she'll help plan special experiences for those romantic hopefuls on the beach. What's actually insane this summer, guys, is they're shaking stuff up, okay? The young singles are going to be joined by Golden Bachelor and Bachelorette alumni that will be crashing the beach. That's right. Both bold and gold singles will shoot their shot at love this season. They're going to be mixing and matching, and it's going to be absolutely insane. This is all taking place in a new tropical oasis in Costa Rica, with new compatibility challenges along the way that are certain to test even the strongest of connections. This season proves that only those willing to pay the price will find true love in paradise. Catch new episodes of Bachelor in Paradise Mondays at 8/7 Central on ABC and stream the next day on Hulu.
I went to a high school in Brooklyn called St. Anne's, which was a liberal, no grades, call your teachers by their first name.
So was Beacon. You could have gone to Beacon fully.
I think it was actually very similar. And I met a guy my freshman year of college, and he had gone to Beacon. I'd gone to St. Anne's. He was my true my freshman year of college unrequited love. And when we met, I felt like we had very similar
In my mind,
high
I'm
school
like, who is it?
experiences.
Thinking I know it. Shut the fuck up. I had the biggest fucking crush on him. Are you fucking kidding me?
Oh, we had a crazy thing. It went on
Is
for
he
years.
gay?
No, he's straight, babe.
I always wish he was gay.
It went
That's
on
why
for
he didn't
years
like
and
me.
years.
No, this is the craziest fucking thing, you guys.
It wasn't fully unrequited.
getting
It went
it.
on for years. This is crazy. It went on for years.
Lena, that is crazy.
What year did you graduate high school?
No, he was a year above me.
Yeah, so he's my year.
Because I was 2006. He was 2000.
So he and I had a shared 18th birthday party.
He was the dream. He was a Beatle. He was a Beatle.
Most beautiful boy in the world. I saw him and I thought, my life is over. I'll give my life to you.
No,
we can talk
I
about this.
am-
The boy that I was in love with freshman year of college, you know who you are. You know who you are. Let's call you Pancakes for a nickname because that was your nickname.
I cannot believe what's happening
No,
right now.
I know. Most beautiful boy in the world, Beetle.
A Beatle.
Let me tell you this story. Let me paint a picture for you, Amanda. Okay. I'm so happy that you got up and hit me with that because it was no, it was true. It was what needed to happen.
Wait, was it the most when I asked you who it was, I thought you were going to say someone that I don't know.
Oh, of course it was someone
And
that
you said
know.
somebody that was my crush.
Of course, because of course we have similar tastes, because of course. So one day I was standing outside my school, St. Anne's, in 11th grade. And I'm walking out and I just see this boy, and he doesn't go to my school because, I'm sure Beacon was the same. There's 60 kids in our class. You know all of them. And I see this boy and I'm like, that is the most beautiful way. When you are in high school and you just think my life is over. I have been hit by
Yeah.
Once you're an adult, you're like, okay, another male-shaped person who's a man. Great.
Yeah, right.
Might end up with one of those. But back then I was like, I've been hit by the love arrow.
Because that's exactly the type that you could ever
and
dream
I won.
of.
Oh my God, because I loved the Strokes and I loved indie boys.
I love
and
the Strokes. I went to every fucking thing. Fabrizio, marry me.
Me too. Fabrizio's sister was in my freshman of college class, and I'd always be like, "What does it feel like to know Fabrizio?" And she'd be like, "He's my brother," and I'd be like, "Is he hot?" And she'd be like, "He's my brother." I had a Strokes mouse pad.
I used to go to every Strokes show.
I had a Strokes.
Who did she date? Somebody hot, Fabrizio. An actress.
Drew Barrymore.
Correct.
And Kristen Wiig.
They were so hot together.
They're so hot in Fabrizio's
Anyway, okay, back to
past.
Pancakes.
Okay, so Pancakes, I see him outside of school. He's wearing women. Back then, you couldn't get skinny jeans for a boy, so he's wearing women's bootcut jeans.
God. Corduroy, maybe?
Corduroy, Keds, worn band t-shirt, hair across the eyes. And I think, heaven, it's love. Love is happening right now.
Because he's from Brooklyn, because he's cool.
Because he's from Brooklyn, because he's cool. Nothing ever happens again. He was waiting to pick up a girl that I knew from school. I see them walk away together. I find out they go to camp together. I think, there's my chances. They're blown. I'll never know a man like that.
Yeah.
I go to the new school. It is because I went to the new school, Eugene Lang College, for 1 year before I transferred
We were talking
to Oberlin.
graduated.
Graduate high school.
Yeah.
It's orientation for the freshman class of Eugene Lang College at the new school. Look around the cafeteria. Who is it?
Pancakes.
Pancakes. I'm like, so I go to him and I'm like, I saw you outside St. Anne's once. And he's like, oh yeah, I went to camp with Sarah. And I was like, oh yeah, that's cool. In college, you can do that. You say that, you hang out every day from there on out. He was in a band. Jemima, who ended up being on Girls' Night, we would follow his band around everywhere. She was hooking up with the other guy from his band. would follow him around. I would sit on like the amp that they were at their shows, at pianos. I went everywhere they went. He and I had a joint 19th birthday party, and he would like talk about his crushes. I'd talk about my crushes, but I didn't really have any crushes because I ached for pancakes.
And he didn't know?
He must have known because I followed him everywhere, being like,
you were his groupie.
yeah, and we were like best friends, and then we used to like sleep in the same bunk bed every night. Like, what are people doing freshman year of college that they can sleep in the same bunk bed? And the guy's like, "Do you have a crush on me or not?" It's insane. So then
that's why.
finally,
that's why I asked you if he might be gay, because I was just like, maybe that's why he never looked my way.
no, well, I would be gay if I never looked your way too. That being said,
right, that's the only reason you're saying.
Yes.
Okay.
But that being said, right then I decided to transfer schools. And right before I went away, I decided to like shoot my shot and be like, listen, it's now or never. Like, I love you, baby. And I remember like, he was kind of, and we hung out all the time. We slept in the same bed like every night of every weekend. And I was like, hey, it's now or never. Like, I'm going away to college. You might never see me again. You're my guy. And he was kind of like, okay. And then he just kind of like ignored it and just wanted to keep being best friends. And it was a real point of pain for me. And so then I didn't really want to be best friends anymore because I was sad.
Yeah.
And then he felt hurt that I don't want to be best friends anymore. And I had to kind of be like, I can't be best friends because I feel these feelings for you. And it's very stressful to me that you just want. And he kind of was like, And then years later, I didn't see him for years and years and years. And a girl came up to me and she was like, I'm Pancake's ex-girlfriend. And he said he thinks about you a lot. And that really made me feel good.
And that's it.
It's the
So
whole
there was
story.
never a kiss?
You know, when you're like, maybe this, I always thought this happened to everyone, but maybe it didn't. I feel like there's a lot of guys that I liked where I'm like, we kind of touched the edges of our lips together. But like, I would not say there was a full-on kiss.
Wait,
I would
what
say
is
there was
that?
like a kind of like, we're in bed and we're both like kind of drunk and it's freshman year of college and we're like, you know, like a kind of, like what you would do with your gay uncle. Clearly, I'm great at love.
Are you sure he's into women? I'm asking
Yes,
one last
100%
time. And
he's into
like
women.
Married?
Whatever he's doing now, he's...
We need to stalk him after this.
Oh, I'm going to help you to see that he is not into men. That's not the issue. The issue was me, unfortunately, and you. The issue was us.
I never said anything. I was
the
just
issue was
like,
us. I know a couple women that he was into, and it was like a specific type.
I know what it is.
What do you think it is?
Mousy, tiny.
Kind of, yeah. Like it was a kind of ethereal, like indie goddess.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I never was able to fit that bill. I tried.
So do you like Jemima? She's kind of that.
She, I think she's scared.
Yeah.
I think the thing about Jemima is she is an ethereal indie goddess, but what's so cool about it, but she, with the personality of like Bette Midler, you know? So she fills both quotients, and that's why she's so special.
I cannot believe we had the same high school crush.
So
you're going to turn 39 this year.
Yeah. How old are you turning?
37.
You're a baby.
We're like literally the same.
I'm like, you're tiny. You're a child. I'm turning 39 in less than a week.
Wait, that's crazy.
I know.
And you're a Taurus. Do we
I'm a
align
Taurus.
with being a Taurus?
What are you?
No, I'm a Gemini.
Okay.
I'm
My
speaking
husband's
in
a
we.
Gemini.
Oh.
What day's your birthday?
31st. What's his?
June 9th.
Okay.
Yes, I feel deeply connected to being a Taurus, almost upsettingly so.
Really?
Do you feel connected to being a Gemini?
Yeah. I want to get it tattooed, but like it's kind of lame, no?
I think, honestly, as
What
someone
about
who's
your
covered,
tattoos?
I mean, I'm covered, and all my tattoos are things I decided to get literally that day, then got. So I actually don't think there's any tattoo you can get that's uncool. Like, if you have the thought and then do it.
Yeah. So you don't regret them? There's such a thing now where everyone's lasering them off.
I feel delighted with everyone. I have
amazing.
good ones. I have bad ones. I wouldn't laser a single one off. And some of
Really?
them are really bad. I mean, I have a money sign on my middle finger and it's a green money sign, and a capillary broke while it was being tattooed. And so it looks like my ring turned my finger green.
No.
But it's just permanently that way. Like, that's so stupid. But like, why not keep it?
Yeah, doesn't bother me.
Yeah. It's just my body.
I have like an ohm. Remember when ohms were cool?
Yes.
Like I got an ohm.
Om Shanti. Great religion.
Yeah, love it. I got my college dorm room on my neck.
What's that? What room?
318.
Did you love your dorm?
I loved my dorm.
Wait, what college was this?
Ithaca.
Oh yeah, Ithaca is gorgeous.
Yeah, Ithaca's gorgeous.
What was the name of the building?
It was Talcott, I think.
We had a Talcott at Oberlin
You
too.
did?
We had a Talcott as well. And they must
And
have
I'm
been big
what
donors.
happened in that room, you fucking nerd? Like, it wasn't that crazy, but I was like, this is crazy, you know?
You know, I had big feelings about, I remember we lived in like 102 in Fireland's dorm, and I remember being like, these are the greatest days of our lives.
Yeah.
Like, great. It's great that you have
great.
that.
It's great. The Jews don't love it.
My grandmother was like, who cares?
Yeah.
She was like 95 and like, who cares?
I know. I got asked about it somewhere. Like, a know-it-all Jewish 7-year-old was like,
Yeah.
I know that you can't get buried. And I was like, I think they changed it.
That's such a good impression of like a Jewish 7-year-old at your cousin's friend's bat mitzvah who's
mean.
so
mean.
and has a lot to say.
Yeah.
There's always one. I
Yeah.
mean, I have a tattoo on my foot that's a rosary. Like, remember when like Paris Hilton or Nicole Richie had like rosaries tattooed on their feet? I have that, except instead of a cross, it has pills.
I'm dying. You know why? First of
Why?
all, because, like, we're the same. And because, like, when I used to see
Because we
people.
both love Mr. Pancakes and our college dorm.
And when I got into tattoos, I only have like 5. But when I started discovering them, I was like, if I was Christian, the first thing I would get would be a cross.
I was like, what do I... Like, I was like, that's how I feel. And then I was like, what do I love the way Christians love the cross?
Pills?
I was like, pharmacology.
No.
Modern pharmacological science.
No, I can't. Wait, what age was that?
Honey, 35?
No.
Like, I was not young for that to be okay. Most of my tattoos, it's
Wait,
not
do you
like...
feel that way still, though? Are we into
Sure.
pharmacology?
I mean, I'm a sober person, but like, yes, like I'm really glad to have my...
Medicine.
I'm really glad to have my, allergy medication and my antidepressant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true. But you're sober.
Yes. Have been for almost 8 years.
8 years.
7.5 years.
How is that?
It's like the best thing. Here's the thing. For me, I'm like, the way I feel about being sober is the same way I feel about being a vegetarian, which is like, it's the right thing for me. I have like, if you want to eat meat around me, if you want to get drunk, like, it's all good.
Mm-hmm.
But like for me and for the clarity that I need to live my life, for my health, for my particular way of moving through the world, it's the right thing for me. But it's not in a didactic, here's information about how you ought to live.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
considering the set of circumstances of my life. It's like the best analogy I can find for it. But for me, as a person who's dealt with as a person who deals with chronic pain, anxiety, for me, it's like better to just have all of the ability to like tap out that alcohol or drugs or whatever gives you off the table.
Do you have any like bad habits that you've kept?
Yeah, I chew Nicorette.
Okay. You know that I got some because I wanted my husband to stop smoking. So I got him that. Meanwhile, like I smoke it. I smoke at the end of the day like House of Cards. Like what's his name? He's canceled now. Kevin Spacey.
Yeah,
Was
what's his name? He's canceled now. Could be. I could have been like, like big trivia game where I just start screaming the names of men who are canceled who have smoked, and there's like 52 of them.
So, they share that cigarette at night.
Yeah.
I don't have the addictive, like I can smoke one a night, feel
Yeah.
like good about it, but he's become gross. So I got him Nicorette.
And he smokes a lot.
He smokes a lot. And did you know
Yeah.
that like there's a whole health movement where it's good for you, especially the gum?
What?
Did you hear this?
What's the gum could it be doing for you? What the gum could it be doing for you?
So here's the thing.
Because I love it, but what could it be
Good.
doing for you?
Healthy. Call my mom who's like a health guru right now. She'll be like, great, Lena, keep chewing. That's what she'll say. So apparently the nicotine by itself can have health benefits. The smoking with the smoke and like going into your lungs and
No,
all that
we
is
don't
bad.
want that.
But good. It might be. Did you get like the flu this year?
No.
The
No, I
Nicorette?
didn't.
You know, the conspiracy theorists, like this is how conspiracies start. You know why you didn't get the flu?
Because I chew Nicorette.
Yeah.
I didn't get COVID this year either, actually, and it's the first year I didn't get COVID. So,
Nicorette.
yeah, because I've had COVID a lot of times before that. Nicorette.
And by the way, I have a family member who has cancer and she's in Israel, and she asked me to send her because she read this research too. It's not made up. She read this research
She
too.
said, "Can you send
and
me
I
some
sent her.
Nicorette?"
I sent her Nicorette. I sent
Okay.
her the gum.
This is blowing
This is the weirdest. Like
my
our
mind.
topics.
This is blowing my mind. Someone's like, we have to smack a Joe Rogan warning on this podcast because you're like spreading Nicorette misinformation. But like, please do not. But because I did have a brief moment where I was smoking during the pandemic.
Cigs.
During that, yeah, and I was like, the world is ending. Who cares? And then I was like,
And until then, you didn't.
no.
Really?
Who doesn't smoke until they're 33? Then
Well,
start
that is
smoking
weird
cigarettes?
because you did talk about in the New Yorker how like you weren't the typical kind of New Yorker, even though people thought you were because Hannah was kind of obsessed with New York, but like everyone smoked cigarettes in my high school.
It's so wild because same with me.
Yeah.
And I was the kid who was like, you're all gonna get lung cancer. Like I was the kid who literally, and this is a fact,
Yeah.
like printed when all my kids wanted to do my kids, I'm calling them my kids because that's how old I felt. All my friends wanted to do my friends. They're like, we weren't her friends. They wanted to do ecstasy. And I printed out literature that I found on the internet that was like, this will drain your spinal fluid and eventually like
Wait,
rob
so
you
you
of.
didn't do drugs in high school?
I smoked weed one time in high school. This
Wait,
is a
that
true
is
fact.
crazy.
I was such a late bloomer. I smoked weed one time in high school, did it a block from home, went to the local D'Agostino, ran into my mother, and then was so embarrassed and wanted to be rescued from myself so badly that I screamed at the top of my lungs, I have the munchies. And she was like, is there something you're trying to tell me, Lena?
Yeah.
Okay, you have to come home now. They were like, my parents were like, oh God. Only time I smoked weed in high school. Didn't really start having any really like physical relationships until I was pretty much, I was about to say definitely double digit in my 20s, early
Really?
20s. Didn't ever really, wasn't a big drinker.
So people were doing it around you.
Did you do drugs in high school?
Yeah.
What
I
kinds of drugs
did.
were happening at your high
I
school?
want to tell you what was happening.
I want to know really bad.
Okay. So first of all, I Beacon a lot.
Beacon was a bad girls' school.
I
Bad
got
kids'
into
school.
cars with drug dealers at 15.
There was a drug
My-
dealer named Bike that I got into a car with regularly. And then one day, and Bike drove a car. And then one day, where are you, Bike? And then one day, a man
I'm
shows
on
up
page
who's like,
one. This is when you know it's the best podcast. This is my
6.
first slide. Like I didn't even transfer.
one day a guy who shows up who's like 6 times bigger than Bike. And my friend,
Wait, what were you doing if you
Chris.
didn't do drugs? Just hanging
I was
out
always
with him?
just with my friend who was buying the drugs. I
Oh,
was always
okay.
like, here to check, here to make sure everything's okay. And my friend Chris was like, what are you, the guy who ate Bike? Because Bike like you'd call one number and then whoever came.
Yeah, I
And
had
so-
Mike White. That was my guy.
Mike White?
Mike White.
And now we created White
And
Lotus.
right.
Yeah.
Wait. No. Yes. Oh my God, it's the same name.
Yeah,
But he was
Mike-
called Mike White for a different reason.
Because he had cocaine?
Wait, no, he was White Mike. Sorry.
Oh, White Mike.
Yeah, because of the cocaine.
White Mike. 'cause
So
of
then I
cocaine.
remember calling for my friends and being like, we want it. And like, whatever. And then he was like, hey, I'm going to be on the corner of like 110th and Amsterdam, whatever.
Yeah,
I go and I'm like, I'm in the sweater. Like, are you okay?
I know.
My mom, meanwhile, is like, when are you coming back home? And I'm like, in the car with White Mike. Like, in the car
And
with
there
White
I
Mike.
was in the car with
And I-
Bike. And I wasn't even doing drugs.
with Mike. No, in New York. So do you see now, like, and I did that and I did mushrooms. Shrooms. Mushrooms ages me. Mushrooms.
I did
Shrooms.
it. I know shrooms is what I did. We called them mushrooms too. I didn't do mushrooms till I was in college. I didn't do cocaine till I was in college, and I only done cocaine like 2 times in my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
And both
I
times
remember when
it was
Hannah did it. Did you have the same kind of experience like Hannah?
Well, when I had to do it on the show,
Yeah.
I was doing such a bad job acting high that Jenny had to pull me aside and be like, "That is not really how people on cocaine." Like Jenny and a couple other writers were like, "You're kind of acting like not like a person on cocaine," because I hadn't even. I don't think the couple times I did it, I even successfully snorted it up. I was more of a like I always liked something that felt safer in a
You know what
pill
we did in
shape.
high school? We used to take like somebody's mom's like muscle relaxants and snort it.
So I will tell you, when I did drugs,
Yeah.
that was what I liked when someone would
That
be
was
like,
crazy.
I brought my grandma's Xanax back from Boca. That was like, I feel safe. Like if Bike
How do you
handed
explain that, though?
everybody a drug, I was like, we can't test this. We don't know what this is. Is this going to drain our spinal fluid? Good for you guys. Glad everything's good with Bike.
Yeah.
Not for me. But when someone was like, we went into my grandmother's bathroom and she has this, left over from her dental surgery.
Then you felt safe.
That's exactly
Is it
right.
because it's like from a doctor?
I think there's a thing, especially in Jewish communities,
Yeah.
where you're like, if it's from a doctor, it's okay.
Uh-huh.
And it's interesting. I've really had to be disabused over the last 10 years of recognizing that doctors are not always right.
Right. Oh my God.
I know I sound like a broken record when I say this, but it is so true. You need protein in your diet, you guys. Protein, protein, protein. That is the name of the game. And for me, it's super helpful to have a go-to protein powder because in one scoop, there's 20 grams of protein. Okay. So if you don't feel like eating an egg, eating a chicken, and you just want something easy and on the go, you make a protein shake or you add it to your favorite yogurt or smoothie or whatever. And let me tell you which protein powder I am using. It's called Clean Simple Eats. It's cleanest, it's best tasting, and it's just amazing. It's always grass-fed, no seed oils, no artificial ingredients, third-party tested, non-GMO, and gluten-free. Each serving, like I said, has 20 grams of protein. It's incredibly creamy and smooth, and I just love it. I also use the chocolate flavor in hot water, and I make like a hot cocoa, and it's so good. Like I said, I've been in a protein journey lately, and Clean Simple Eats has saved me. It's so delicious, and it's such an easy way to get 20 grams of protein. Visit cleansimpleeats.com. Use my code NOTSKINNY20 at checkout for 20% off your first order. That's cleansimpleeats.com. My code is NOTSKINNY20 for 20% off your first order. The link will also be in my show notes. Is it just me, or have you noticed that every single thing you buy or purchase or whatever has a fee? Cleaning fees for weekend rentals, processing fees. What are you processing? What are you processing? Fees are everywhere, and they really hurt the most when you're trying to save money. So that's why I'm here to tell you about Chime. Chime offers fee-free banking. No monthly fees, no overdraft fees, no minimum balance fees. Sign up today at chime.com/notskinny. Listen, banking shouldn't cost you money. You're already putting your money there. You're giving a bank your money to keep safe. Help me help you. Your bank should help you help them. All right? You shouldn't be paying extra fees already. It's like, say thank you. I'm putting my money here. I'm trusting you with this. Okay? Bank fees can really be such a hurdle on getting ahead or saving up. So fee-free banking with Chime really makes your life so much easier. There are no monthly fees. There are no overdraft fees. There are no minimum balance requirements. And it is super duper easy to open an account. It takes 2 minutes at chime.com/notskinny. That's chime.com/notskinny. Chime feels like progress.
Chime is a financial technology company, not a bank. Banking services and debit card provided by the Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A. Members FDIC. Spot and eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Timing depends on submission of payment file. Fees apply at out-of-network ATMs. Bank ranking and number of ATMs according to U.S. News and World Report 2023. Chime checking account required.
Listen, I've said this before. Am I a little bit happy that I'm not pregnant right now? Yeah, I am. Because it's summer and it's hot. If you're chugging along a pregnancy, if you're 6, 7, 8 months pregnant, I feel you girls, it's hard to be pregnant in the summer. But you can do hard things. And one of the things that was most important to me to keep up with when I was pregnant, and something that isn't hard, is to take a prenatal supplement. So important when you're pregnant. My doctor actually reminded me all the time, and I was like, I know, I'm taking Ritual. Thank you. You need a prenatal, you go to Ritual. They're mom founded, they're third party tested for heavy metals and microbes, and they shared the sources and suppliers behind their key ingredients. Ritual offers tailored nutrient support for key phase of pregnancy, from fertility support formulated to support conception outcomes, to their essential prenatal, which is what I took, and postnatal multis to support key nutrient needs before, during, and after pregnancy. I love Ritual. I also love the fact that their supplements never made me like burp up. You know, if you get nausea when you're pregnant, you know it's so hard to find a supplement to take that you're not like, ugh, I'm going to throw up. When it comes to pregnancy and postpartum support, you want products backed by research and transparency. Mom-founded Ritual puts in the work and shows you the proof. Get 25% off your first month at ritual.com/notskinny. That's ritual.com/notskinny for 25% off.
Wait, okay, so let's go back to the New Yorker piece where it's basically a goodbye to New York in a way.
Yeah.
Like a retroactive goodbye because you left a few years ago.
It's like we had a really good run and I'm glad that I can come back and have these spells with you.
Yeah.
But I'm also really glad I figured out that this isn't the only place in the world.
Do you feel like, by the way, when I was searching for it, the piece that came up above it was somebody being like The Guardian wrote like a response to it, I think.
You know what's so funny? My friend Nikki, who takes care of my dogs and cats when I travel, sent that to me and I was like, this couldn't possibly be good. And then I opened it and he was like, not sure if you saw this. And I was like, this is going to be so mean. He just didn't read it yet. And then it was actually pretty nice. It was just a woman being like, I moved back to London. Maybe you'll want to.
You'll want to die here.
It was basically saying, I might want to go back to New York to die.
Yeah. And
I'm
what
like,
did you think about that?
I'm like, I don't know. I mean, this planet's going to be burning.
Yeah.
It's going to be a burning tire by the time we die. I'm not totally sure where I want to die yet.
Yeah.
Where do you think you want to die?
No, I don't want to. I don't want to think about it. I'm way too anxious to think about that. That's why that woman writing that, it freaked me out.
I think about it every day. You don't think about it all the time.
No.
Every day I'm like, what's it going to feel like? Where am I going to be?
No, I can't.
Okay,
I can't think about it. I can't. It makes me too anxious.
I think we all have our way.
But I will say, I can't think about tomorrow. I'm like, I don't know if I can renew my rent. Like, I don't know if I'll be here. And people are like, where are you going to go? I'm like, I don't know. You know?
You know, who could know?
I never know. So, but
Is your husband like that too, or does he like to think about the future?
He just does what I say.
That's such a good answer.
No, because like I met him in Israel. He's fully Israeli.
Yeah.
And I was like, we're going to move now, you know?
He was like,
He was like in Haifa in the small town. I was like, we're going to move to Tel Aviv.
How did you guys meet?
I was in Israel on a trip.
And
after Ithaca College.
Did you just see him and go, what a hunk?
He was actually, pancakes reference. The first time I saw my husband, he was wearing a little like fedora type hat.
Which was, guys, for anyone who's younger and doesn't understand, that was really cool then. Like,
so cool.
It might not seem good right now.
Yeah.
It might seem stressful.
And he had like sideburns.
Also cool then.
Right?
Yeah. You're naming everything that was hot then.
I used to hang out at Union Square on the steps. And
watch really cool.
a bunch of pancakes, like skateboard. Like, but you know what's so funny? And I wonder if this happened to you, because obviously we had the same type. Did you ever actually like date somebody that is that appearance? Because I always thought that was my type, but those kind of guys weren't ever into me.
You know what's funny? I always thought that was my type. They weren't into me. I was into them. I was chasing these like indie sleaze dream boys.
Yeah,
who
exactly.
were not
the
really
indie boys.
feeling me.
Yeah.
I loved an indie boy. And now my husband, if you look at pictures of him from that time, like I would have chased him across 9 continents, and I would have chased him interstellar style, up, down, and all around, just to hold his hand for 5 minutes. He was the apotheosis of what I thought was cute.
He still is like a musician.
Oh, I mean, he's the cutest thing I ever saw in my life. He's a beautiful
How did you meet him?
We met on a blind date. My friend Honor set us up. And it was, so you saw your husband and he was wearing a fedora.
Right.
And did you say?
I said, like, who's that? And someone was like, Weiss. Like, they said his last name because he went by that. And I thought that
What's
was
his
even
last
cooler.
name?
Weiss.
And they were like, that's Weiss.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay. But I asked about him because I saw the fedora in the crowd.
The fedora in the crowd.
Sounds funny because you're
the
Gen Z,
fedora,
you don't get it.
The fedora in the crowd is your romance novel.
Yeah, the fedora in the crowd.
Okay.
Oh my God, that's beautiful.
It's beautiful. And we'll write it together.
Yeah.
And then we'll read it together. My husband and I met because I was in London and I was there for work and I had to be on it was COVID and I had to be on a quarantine. And I was talking I have 2 straight male friends, literally. Shout out to Honor and Jesse. I have another one named Teddy. But but like that's how few and far between they are that I can name them all on this podcast. And they were talking to me and they were like, how is London going? And I was like, it's not going. I'm in a mandatory 14-day
Wow, that's awful. Yeah.
inside of my
Quarantine. Yeah.
apartment quarantine. And they were like, well, have you met anyone? I was like, how? I'm in a mandatory inside my apartment 14-day quarantine. And I was sad about a boy who had hurt my feelings and a man who had hurt my, someone once pointed out that I call all men boys. And I was like, I can't
I kind of love it.
I can't help it. So then my friend Honor suggested that he send out like a kind of all points bulletin to his like dude network, being like, my friends in London who wants to like show her what's what in this COVID world.
Yeah.
And I sort of relented, thinking this is like at best going to be nothing. At worst, going to be really embarrassing, but nothing. And at best, going to be maybe amusing for a night. And then he told me that I should have like take a walk with this guy, and it turned out to be my husband.
That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
You should do that. Well, you said you're not on Instagram, but there's this thing. How does that reel start? Little did she know she would then meet her husband. Like there's a thing now. There's
Where
a
people-
trend. It's not little did she know. If only she knew. Like it would be you in London in quarantine in a mask. This is what the trend would be.
And it'd be like, if only she knew 2 days later
Right.
she would meet
exactly.
her husband.
Exactly.
Yes,
You
because
get it.
it'd be like a
That's you.
picture of me lying on the floor. I'll give you this one, taking a sexy selfie of myself holding a thing of Crest toothpaste.
Sending it to who?
This guy who had hurt my feelings who loved Crest toothpaste. Again, you know who you are. And him being like, no. And then, so that picture, little did she know,
Little did you know.
she would meet her husband. And then I remember like 3 days into knowing him, he was like, you use Crest?
No.
He was like, gross.
Oh, he's like organic, eh?
Yeah, he was like, get it out of here.
Oh.
He was like, and he uses like that.
Did you that? What does he use?
He's a
Tom's?
Marvis guy. Do you know that fancy Marvis
No, can you
toothpaste?
get it
It's very
here?
British. You can get it at like Bigelow and some other
Do you use
places.
it?
I
You're
use what he
converted?
uses. I use it. I'm like more of a Tom's of Maine girl.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what I grew
What,
up
like
on.
strawberry vibes?
I grew up on the strawberry. That's what we had as kids because
Yeah.
we weren't allowed to use like deodorant with any aluminum. We weren't allowed to use
Back
toothpaste.
then.
We had to use
Because your parents are like hippies. Yeah.
So they would like, my mother was always like, you can either have the option of Tom's of Maine deodorant or like a deodorizing crystal kind of thing.
Oh my God.
I remember writing to my parents from girls' summer camp and being like, I need deodorant. And my mom sending me like one of those crystals and getting made fun of. But that's okay. It's not a formative trauma.
No, it's just crazy that like they were so early on it.
They were really early on it. And I remember, you remember all the girls were getting like the Dove, like the
yeah.
Teen Spirit.
Of course.
And like Dove and stuff. And I
Yeah.
was like, Mom, I need Teen Spirit. And she was like, what do you want, armpit cancer? And she was like, yeah, really? You want to have your armpits removed?
Wait, so at what? I just need to be in teenage Lena that we have the whole picture of the St. Anne's and the pancakes and the bike and the getting in the car and being the one that doesn't do the drugs. So how does that girl do Tiny Furniture, then do girls? Like how did that happen?
Well, I think I was always like, and maybe you were like this a little bit. I mean, you sound like you were a really fun party animal and I would have loved to be around you.
You would have came with me in the car.
And also you remind me of like, sometimes I would go on like a summer program or like a 2-week like theater camp, or like I once took like a 3-week like trip to Cuba with like an exchange program trip to Cuba, and there was this like one like girl who kept like pulling guys off the street into our bus to make out. And like
me?
I don't know,
Okay.
but there was always one like really funny, bold girl where I was like, I'm gonna be her. We're never gonna lose touch. She's the best person. I'm going to change my personality. This is who I am now. And then inevitably, like she goes back to school in San Francisco,
Yeah.
and like I return to being the girl who follows everyone around while they talk to bike. And I think a lot of people feel this way as writers, which is I was always an observer, and I was always a person who liked to be around it but not doing it, and bearing witness to it but not right up against it.
Yeah.
And that was always really important to me, and also a big part of just my instinct. And so I think the fact that I wasn't always the center of the action, but I was around the action.
Yeah.
I wasn't the one who was getting pancakes, but I was the one who was like
On the amp.
on the amp watching pancakes.
Yeah.
Like I was in That Thing You Do. And then just bopping.
You were in That Thing You Do. I love
So
it.
sad. All of that. I
Yeah.
can't wait to show you where pancakes is after this. But all of that was a really
Material.
yeah, it was material, and it all built up. And I think sometimes the person who is, and you might feel this way, like the person who is the most popular person lives at the center of it, is the action, is the it girl, is the moment. Like that's their expression. That's what they're doing. And so for me, writing, making films and television, that for me is my expression.
Yeah.
Like I don't have that deep social expression. Today, a friend of mine referred to me as a hermit, and I was like, I don't like that. That's a little sharp, but like
Because you don't like to go out a lot.
I don't like to go out a lot. I don't like to be. I find like turn into a pumpkin pretty early, but I would say more homebody than hermit.
Yeah. Do you
But,
want people to come over?
I love when people come over.
Okay.
And I love coming over to people.
Okay.
But I would say it's like really simple. Like, do you feel like I get a feeling from you that you're an extrovert, not an introvert.
I think I'm an extrovert, but I don't like going places.
So, but you would be delighted if people were over at your house all day chatting.
No.
You like time. How much time alone do you like?
I don't know, Lena. I haven't thought about it.
Really? But you've thought about everything.
How much time alone do you like?
A lot.
Really?
Well, I love to be with people at work, and I love to be with people in the context. But then,
yeah.
But then I don't know, every
I see.
day,
yeah. Okay. I'm tracking.
I want to have at least 3 hours at the end of the day, whether it's to write,
Yeah.
or to read, or to, drink a bubble tea. That's just completely
need it.
unfettered. I don't mind if it's with my pets, but other people talk it, or if it's quiet time with someone I love.
Yeah.
But
It's very specific.
it's very. I need to be able to close my eyes and open them again, and so. Sometimes if people are over or if we're together, there's some pressure to that.
Uh-huh.
But I really value when I have a friendship where we can have that kind of time together.
And the best friends are the ones that you cannot see for a long time and then kind of hang out again.
Yes, or you can hang out with and you don't have to talk.
Oh, the best.
The best.
I have actually a friend that it's not even that we vibe that hard, but we do have that comfort where we could just not talk, and that doesn't I'm like, there must be something here if we can just hang out, you know?
Of course.
Yeah.
Parallel play is what my mom calls it.
But I won't talk about how you created Girls, because I feel like me and you could do a 4-hour podcast, but we do need to talk about the importance of it and how it's trending still after all these years. Like TikTok is eating it up. Are you aware?
I'm
the voice of my generation is a trending sound.
It's crazy to me. I will admit, I admitted it. I've admitted it before. TikTok is the only, because I don't have my own, I don't have the password to my own Instagram account. I don't have the password to my own, I don't use X. I don't have Instagram. I don't have Facebook, those things. But I have a ghost burner TikTok account because I love TikTok. Do you like watching TikTok?
I don't actually.
See, but do you like using Instagram?
Yes.
See, I just I like TikTok because I feel like it's a chance to know
random
where the
things.
youth is at and random things.
Yeah.
I don't, and so sometimes it'll pop up.
Yeah.
That sound, and it's in a totally random context.
Yeah.
And it's so sweet. I'll see a really cool sex worker in Australia using a sound from Girls, and I follow her totally separately because of a great video, and I feel so happy.
You know that Zosha was on my show. That's not how you say her name. Zasha. Rewind.
But
it's so hard.
Here's the thing I'll tell you. We call her Z.
Okay.
So you don't have to worry.
Never again.
Zasha, it took me years to say.
I'm trying so hard to say it right that I say it wrong.
I agree. And it's also, you just have to remember, it's just Sasha with a Z.
It's Sasha with a Z. So she was on.
She was great. I listened to the episode. It was great.
You did?
Yes. I've listened to your show before.
Okay. I know. I'm shocked.
I love it. I love
you. I love you.
You're a cultural figure in your own right. I told you that. I said to my father this morning.
I know.
I was like, Papa, I'm going on a podcast. That's why my hair's done.
Yeah.
And he was like, what podcast? And I said, it's called Not Skinny and Not Fat. And he kind of looked at me and he was like, seems like a good podcast for you. And I think he thought he was being really nice. Like, well, you're not fat.
Right.
And you're not too
You
skinny.
were right. You took it as a compliment.
And he's really in his like body positivity era.
Love
like
that
he's
for
really
him.
in his like every roll on you is just right. Like he's really trying. So he thought it was a chance to support the movement.
And you're like, not that. Never mind.
Never mind. We don't have to worry.
So Zasha was on, told her about the thing with her and girls is that the TikTok generation is having a revelation that like she was the most like the best character,
most enlightened.
Right, exactly. And we didn't know it, you know. And when we watched it and we thought she was annoying, we didn't get it.
Yep.
And she said on the pod that she has suggested to you a show spinoff, and that you weren't not on board.
No, listen, I love Shoshana. I am on record as saying she is my favorite girl. I think she is the one with the most, like, I think she's the one who is going places.
Yeah.
I think Shoshana's going places. And also, it's just such a joy to watch Zasha be her. So if there was, like, the right context for us to do it, I'd be fucking thrilled. And also to do anything with her. Like, and we've already kicked around, like, we've all just kicked around jokingly where they would be now.
Yeah.
And I kicked around some ideas with Zosh about like where we would find with Zosh about where it was also always confusing because it was like Shosh and Zosh.
That is a little confusing.
But she would be such a brilliant, like she'd be so brilliant at revisiting it, and I just miss it and I miss her. So anyway, I'm in.
You're in.
If I'm in.
And you're busy. How does this busyness work? Because wait, before that, Jemima. You were such good friends. Are you still close?
Yes. And she will always, I mean, we've been close since we were
Was she
11.
St. Anne's?
St. Anne's. We met when we were,
Wow.
I was 11 and she was 12 when we met. So like whatever the kind of, like we've been living in different places. Hilariously enough, like she came from England when she was 11 to New York.
Yeah.
Now she's in New York and I'm there.
Did she think it was hilarious? Because I could see you being like, how funny that you were there and I'm here, and then you're in New York and I'm...
And her being like, that's not funny at all.
Right?
Literally. Me being like, I'm in London, where you're from. And she's like, okay, lots of people are from there.
Right, that's what I could see
And
happening.
I did pass the school she went to as a kid and like text her really excitedly. I was like, I just passed the Herodian. She was like, so? But she will always be, and her family, Lola, Domino, her sisters, like, they will always be a really important part of my life and my story. And she also was such a big, like, she really gave me the confidence also to start directing, because to have your best friend, like, act and make you feel that you have what it takes. I didn't realize that she was kind of big-upping me as a director at the time. I didn't realize that she was kind of, with a wink and a nod, doing what I asked of her and giving me the honor and respect of like performing my scripts. But she really is also a big part of giving me the confidence to do this.
People ask me all the time, why wasn't Pancakes and other people into you? And I say, I was too much. I just gave you that talk at lunch today because she was talking about dating.
It's a big one.
And I said, listen, I went to college with these John Mayer fucking guitar people. I would be like, gross song. And then the Katies and the tiny little mousy people would be like, I want to die to that song. And like he would date them. And I wouldn't get why he didn't date me, even though I was like, songs are trash. Like,
I know.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Too much. You're almost new show. I mean, no, by this, when it comes out, July.
It's coming out in July, yeah.
Which I've watched some, and I'm so happy about it.
That's so
I'm
nice.
so happy about it. I'm so
Thank
happy
you.
to see you and your work back on my screen because
Thank
we
you,
need
honey.
it, and it's just
Thank
so
you.
you and so important.
Thank you.
And they sent me like 5 episodes, and I'm so happy that in that is the episode where they discuss the too much, because I feel like that's so. First of all, I love that it, like, you know, the title actually relates to like a point in the show.
Thank you.
But can I say what he says with the too much?
Of course you can.
So he's British, right? Because it's kind of like a.
It's like it's very. There's aspects of it that aren't, and there are aspects of it that are. But my husband and I created it, and there's a lot of it that's very close to our story of meeting and getting to know each other.
So she's you, and he's your husband, but
he's like, oh, you're too much. And she's like, I mean, I'm too much. And you're not enough. And then he says, no, I meant in a good way. Like, you're too much. Like in a British kind of slang.
Yeah.
Is that what it was like when you met your husband?
Well, so when I met my husband, my mother, when I was a kid, and blessed by my parents, they dealt with, I mean, I was a very eccentric kid, and they dealt with it with good humor. Like I had separation anxiety, I had OCD, I had physical health stuff, I had social stuff. Like they were dealing with a lot. I was not giving them any peace, but my mother would always be saying, quiet down your voice. My mother would always saying, this is a little bit much. My father didn't want to say be quiet, so he started saying sotto voce because he thought it was more respectful.
What
it
language
just
is
means
that in?
like quiet your voice down in Italian.
Okay.
It's like basically what they say in like a fancy Italian
opera? Okay.
They're just
really?
like soft. It means like soft voices.
Oh.
So it's my father trying to be very sweet, which is he doesn't want to be like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
So my parents were always finding ways to like kind of pull the reins of what my former analyst calls my wild horse energy. And so my husband, when we met, I would say things and he would say, you're too much. You're too much. And I always, when he was saying it, I was contracting as if he was telling me to calm down, to chill out, to be less.
Yeah.
And then suddenly I realized one night that what he was actually saying was like a real term of endearment, because he would talk about other things and say, it's too much, it's too much. And I realized, it means it's cute, it's sweet, it's lovely.
I love that.
And it really was like a small but big thing, which it gave me massive context and made me realize that like, we are so conditioned to feel that our largeness, whether it's physical or emotional, it's like, how much time do we spend, not just as women, as people, like trying to like tuck in our chins and rearrange our hair so it's like kind of like covering this part of us, and then like, sit up so you can't see our stomach, but then also have your voice be not too loud, but then also have your ideas be not too strong. And I didn't realize how much, despite sort of being publicly consumed as a person who spoke their mind, I had fallen prey to all of that, and then how much he was reprogramming me. And so I wanted to talk about that. And also how many women I know who feel that way in dating and feel like they don't have any way to express themselves fully. And it's so sweet. Like I've actually noticed that there is something like my husband he's not just British, he's also Peruvian. And I think there's something about like there's something about his, I don't know what the deal is with his Peruvian heritage, but they really appreciate bigness and passion and enthusiasm.
Latino vibes.
Yeah, I've spent a lot of time now in Peru, and it's like they appreciate warmth and energy and intensity and big expressions of love and music and laughter. And, I think that like and his family laughs big and they love big. And I felt like I was a welcome, my energy was for the first time like a welcome addition to the room, and not too much. And it's interesting that you had to go to Israel, which has, by the way, there are a lot.
Have you been?
Yes, I have. And the more you travel, the more you realize how many how much, like, for example, the more I've realized like Jewish culture, Latino culture, Greek culture, Italian culture, like there's these things that when you like meet people who are like Moroccan culture, you meet these different places that all have this same vibe, which is like you meet for example, in America, you meet lots of immigrant families who have the same stereotype that the Jewish mother, which is like big, noisy, loving, overbearing woman. That thing that like my mother occupies in our family is the same thing that my husband's mother occupies in their family. And so he was totally ready for me. And it's interesting that you felt like you had to go there.
Yeah, totally.
And that like these kind of like too cool for school New York boys weren't necessarily getting it.
They weren't getting it. The girls can get it. I feel like the guys, it's like different. I don't know what it's like with American men, but I do say this, and I feel like I say this not as a joke. If you can't find someone here, fly on out.
I think everyone should try going somewhere else to date just because it's good for expanding your mind. Like, even if I hadn't met my husband, I would have been glad to. And by the way, I always say when people are like, should I go to London or all the guys there? I'm like, a lot of the guys there are really stiff and really straight because they're British.
Right.
My husband happens to be British Peruvian. And so he was down to clown in a different way. Like, I went on a couple other dates with British guys and I was like, this man's going to die by the end of the night. Like, I'm going to be the death.
Right, because they're very, but okay, but
He's going to have a heart attack at this breakfast date. but my husband happened to be the right person for it. But it was still good for me to go to another place and try whatever my shtick was.
Right, and then you can get a different response. Like maybe
it's like
different.
if you're a stand-up comedian, you want to go test your act out at clubs across America. It's the same with dating.
Same thing.
Like, and also if you look at it, if you're still single in your 30s as a woman, chances are you have been dating for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's a long time to try something and not get the result you want.
Yeah.
So you have to go try it somewhere else.
Try it somewhere else. I'm down with this.
So
you're now a married girly. And you created...
How long have you been married?
Since 2015.
Oh, so you've been married for a long time.
No, child bride.
For my wedding, I literally dressed like a Madame Alexander doll. I was like, I'm such an old, decrepit, ancient bride at 35. I better wear a dress like a little doll at FAO Schwartz.
Did you always want to get married? Like, were you a fairy tale wedding kind of girl?
Like, I didn't want to be because I came from such a feminist, like, my mom was literally part of a group called WAC, Women's Action Coalition. And I was always like, my mom, like, wore like a pantsuit at her wedding and had, like, short hair. Like, it was not the energy of my home, but I love fluff. I love frills. I always just wanted it. And I had like 4 outfit changes at my wedding just because I was like, I don't want to do this multiple times. And I want the chance to do this.
To do it big.
To do it big.
I love that.
And it was
for you.
really joyful. And luckily my husband loves, like when we got engaged, he just asked no engagement ring. And then I was finally 5 days later like, so what about a ring? And he was like, well, you didn't get me a ring. He wanted to do everything like
together.
Yeah. And so when I had outfit changes, he got outfit changes too.
Stop.
Yeah, he was really into it.
So when you say that he was your co-creator on Too Much, like, this is new to him, this world. Did you bring him in? You felt like you needed him to be part of it?
I felt like if I was going to write something about, especially like British culture, about someone who's not just like the character of Felix in the show, he's not just British. Played by Will
Sharpe, which is so good. And he's so in this character and so different from like the White Lotus and whatever else he did that it takes you a minute to like, you're like, oh my God, you know?
He's an amazing
He's so good.
actor. He's such a brilliant, talented, sweet man and such a talented writer, creator. He, I felt like to write a character, not just a British guy, but like a guy who is like mixed British and also has like one parent who's from a different country and is trying to figure out that confusion of being sort of like partially this upper crusty part of the like someone who's trying to be part of like the grand British experiment, but also comes from another place. I needed my husband's input and ideas. And from the minute we met, I was like, you are as funny as a comedy writer. I really feel like you could do this. Like Again, I was like, I know that you have only ever read 8 books and somebody was pretty much reading them aloud to you, but do you think that we could just kind of organize your thoughts a little? And he was amazing. And he also just really helped. I feel like writing men, I really love working with male actors. I really love trying to create nuanced male characters, but it was really helpful for me to have his
POV.
Because at the end of the day, like there are essential differences about the way that we have moved through the world that I think he was just able to really nail. And so, it was an incredible asset to me. If you love your job and you spend so much time on it, and then it naturally takes you away from your partner.
Right.
So it's so nice if
when
life is
built together.
Yeah.
So you think, is he into it? He's going to want to keep doing stuff like this?
I think he
that's
is.
great.
I think he is, and I think he's really good at it, which makes it extra special.
And there were so many cameos in the show.
We went cameo crazy. We really did.
Cameo crazy. And people that you've worked with, I feel like you like the people that you like.
I like to bring it back.
You like to bring it back?
I really do.
Who was in it? Meg, who plays you in the show.
She's the best.
Which I love her from Hacks. She's great.
She's a brilliant, special person.
And the decision to not play it, which I don't, you've talked a lot about it.
but to me, if that was the only reason, there were more reasons, do you get what I mean? Like, I hope that wasn't the only.
No.
Okay.
I think that was like the quote. People are like, she doesn't want to play it because I think someone asked in an interview, did you want to play it? And I said, no, I didn't want to. And in addition, I think it's really hard to have received that level of physical criticism and want to step back on screen.
Yeah.
But honestly, for me, it's that when you're in your 20s, if you want to write, if you want to direct, if you want to act, if you want to do it all at the same time, you have the energy, you have the time, you have the style. Now, I'm an older lady. I've got a lot of different stuff to attend to. But also, as you know, as you get into your 30s, like I did not realize in my early 20s just how much energy and stamina I had.
Yeah.
And so now if I have
we talked about it when you walked in. I was like, Lena, you're my third thing of the day. And only for you, I would do a third thing.
That's exactly right. But in your 20s, wouldn't you have probably done 3
I would have
things?
done so many things.
I would have done 15 things. And so I think for me, it's like, only for you would I do 3 things. It's like in the show, in Girls, I did 3 things. And this was me going,
too much.
You know what? Too much.
Well,
and
that
I
makes me
took away
happy
the
to
thing
hear.
that was and also with actors, I'm always like, you are the best at this of everyone. You are. I loved doing it on Girls, but I always knew that there were people who were as good at doing it.
You think?
Yeah.
No.
Well,
No,
thank
I'm
you,
not
but
going to let you do that
Thank
because you were fucking amazing and like just.
it was great for the moment it was a joy to do it for the moment we were doing it. And I'm really happy that I get to direct Meg doing it now.
So how does it work? You took off like a few years and then how does it work? Lena Dunham picks up the phone, is like, ding, ding, I'm back. And then all of a sudden, bang, bang, bang. Too Much is coming out. You're working on the rom-com, Good Sex with Natalie Portman. There's the play that you're working on, right? The 10 Things I Hate About
10
You.
Things I Hate About You with Jess Wang and Carly Rae Jepsen, which has been an amazing process.
So tell me how this happens. Like you call your agents, you're like, out of hibernation. Like how does this all happen?
You know what it's more like, actually, although I love your version where it's like, I'm back, ladies.
Yeah.
Get me on the line with, actually, I've kind of been quietly working away on lots of stuff. And then it all gets announced in this odd, when it rains, it pours torrent. And it's like, actually, we've been working on the play for 4 years. And we've been working on the show since 2020. And we have been, there have been lots of things in that time that haven't worked out. Because
things take time, guys.
Things take time. If you want to do something well, it takes time, unfortunately.
Yeah.
The other thing is that the movie business is a lot of incubating lots of eggs, and some of them hatch and some of them do not.
Yeah.
And then sometimes they all hatch all on the same day.
At the same time.
And that's what it is. So then, and also the narrative of the movie business is always like, so-and-so took a break only to return with X. And it's like the real story, because it wouldn't sound as sexy as the actual cover.
She's been working on this.
Which is like she's been slowly puttering along with 1 3-day vacation a year.
Yeah.
And occasionally taking an afternoon off to rewatch Alias. Like that doesn't sound that great.
Yeah.
So they're going with that version.
So with the timing, so we have the show coming out in July, Too Much. It's going to be on Netflix.
Yep.
You're filming this summer the rom-com with Natalie Portman.
With Natalie, which I'm thrilled about. She's one of my favorite actors in the world, and I've wanted to make a romantic comedy for a long time, also for Netflix.
Did you write it for her?
I wrote it for her, and she's producing it with me, which is incredible.
That's insane. And the play is coming out. You're working on it.
We are working on it, and we have our first really big workshop this summer. So Jess, who is my incredible collaborator, co-writer of the book, and Carly Rae are going to be kind of overseeing the workshop of the book that we've already written.
Wait, so it's based on the movie?
So it's based on the movie.
Okay.
And we've kind of done, I would say like for people who love the movie, don't worry, we're being faithful enough.
I trust you.
But for people who don't know the movie, or for people who are like, what's new in store for me? There have been some exciting twists that I think speak to a more modern time while still giving total reverence to the show and to the film. And then to really and then the real piece de resistance is like Carly and Ethan Gruska's brilliant music. And I'm a total musical nerd, and it is a real pleasure to be in that space. I don't know when we're officially headed to B-Way.
Okay.
But we are having our first kind of workshop for producers and other people to see so that they can start to make those decisions this summer.
I'm so excited.
I'm hoping that people will be able to start seeing it in 2026. And then I also have a book coming out in 26.
You're going to make me read again?
I'm going to make you read again. Unfortunately, I'm going to make you really put those little CVS reading glasses on.
I really will. Because
that means
I know
so much,
that
and I'm going to write
write
you a really nice inscription.
Okay.
Dear darling.
Yeah.
And it's a memoir sort of about the period of time from when girls began until now.
Wow.
And my
Amazing.
work life, my health, my sobriety, and also just like kind of reflecting on our societal relationship to women, fame, self-awareness, self-examination, self-flagellation. Like it's both a personal story and a kind of larger cultural examination. And I've been working on it for a long time, for 6 years.
Is it done?
It's basically done.
But then 2026, like a year or like
I think it's going to be next spring. My editor,
spring.
Andy Ward, do you hear me, Andy Ward? I think it's going to be next spring, right?
It takes time. Everything takes time.
It takes time, but we're
and
working
then you
on the
write a
book cover
cultural
right now.
reference. What happens? You write in there a cultural reference from right now.
Like to my book that comes out next spring?
Like in your book. Like,
I mean,
you know what I mean? Like a
if
pop
I'm-
culture reference that's like relevant now. That's what I always wonder.
I try not to do like a. It's funny because there's certain pop culture references you think are fleeting that then turn out to be forever, like Charlie bit me. You know, like,
Yes.
like it's like you thought that was going to be 1 week.
Such a good example.
Like Charlie bit me will never not know what that is.
Not.
But then there's certain things that you think are going to be forever
Yeah.
that turn out to be fleeting. So you never know.
Right.
And you have to try in all your work to like not include, like I always try not to include things, to kind of include things that make it feel current, but not date it too much.
Like you could always reference Katy Perry wearing the hamburger outfit to the Met.
You could literally always reference it. And honestly, you can always reference her wearing the candelabra to the Met.
Could
And
just in
honestly-
general reference Katy Perry.
But you know what's weird? I don't think a Blue Origin reference is going to be fresh forever.
You know, you think people are going to be like, oh, she took that spaceship ride?
I think people are going to be like, people are going to be like, do you know how many fucking spaceship rides have happened since then?
Yeah.
So many other people.
Yeah.
I think
got
that
you.
she's going to be the least of our troubles.
With all these new things coming out, the last question I have is there was a Polly Pocket thing going on.
Yes.
Pulled out.
I pulled out.
Why?
You know, I love that. Firstly, it sounds crazy to be like, but I love that piece of IP. Like, I truly love Polly
Yeah.
Pocket toys. To this day, like, I just saw that one of my favorite clothing brands, Lisa Says Ga, I have no affiliation with this professionally, was doing a Polly Pocket branded, like, clothing drop. And I was like, I want all of this. But I realized, I think that, you know, what Greta did with Barbie, managing to take this piece of IP and make it so personal and specific is really, really hard. And I just didn't think I was going to be the best person for the job. I was like, I am not going to do this as well as the other. I think it will, because Greta did it so well, like it's always going to be unnecessarily compared. And she's my friend and I love her and we've known each other for 20 years. Like, who needs that? And that movie just changed the world and let this be something different.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go pursue something different. And
Yeah.
it just, you know, sometimes you just have to like have the bravery to know
When to say no.
when to say no. And I
Good for
used to
you.
be really scared because I always thought everything is fleeting, but
Right.
it's not. It's okay to say no.
And you know what art you're like best at making.
Yeah. I said no to something last week and it was really hard and it was 100% correct.
Like you know it now.
Yeah.
A job thing.
Yeah, job thing. And I was like, Emma, no.
That's what she said yes to, guys.
This podcast.
This podcast.
And I'm so glad I did.
I'm so glad I did.
That was so
I love you
fun.
so much.
I really love you back. It was
love you so much.
From the
Thank you
minute
so much.
we realized that we both loved
Well, even if I loved you from before.
I loved you
what?
from before. I'm going to write all my information for you down right here or in your phone even
You
better.
fucking better.